Hello, welcome back to the channel. Okay, let's get on with this. Ed Boon poll suggests that PS5 and Xbox X Series X pricing is the most important factor for many. This is an interesting article. It was an interesting poll that happened. My controller switched off. There we go. There was 50,000 people in this poll, which is obviously doesn't give an opinion of all gamers, because there's millions and millions and millions of gamers. But 50,000 is quite an okay vote, I imagine. It's on Twitter as well, so it reached sort of a good majority of various different type of gamers. And you know, at the end of the day, if people are going to listen to Metacritic, which is then in the opinion of one person, then you're going to listen to 50,000 people, surely, aren't you? So what this comes up with is what overall what people thought of the poll is. Affordable pricing received 37.5% of the votes, followed by the ability to play last-gen titles, backward compatibility, got 30% of the votes. Better graphics got just under 20% of the votes, and exclusive games got 13%, the lowest percentage. So just to round up there, pricing is the most important, followed by backwards compatibility, then graphics, then exclusives. Exclusives, it appears, are the least common denominator when it comes to consoles and gaming. So that's an excellent poll, because it pretty much rounds up what I was saying all along. That exclusives are pretty much irrelevant, and only a majority, which I've always said, about 80% of gamers don't play multiplats, which this poll also sort of follows the same mathematical logic. So, but the interesting thing I like from this is the pricing. So a lot of people want pricing, but the backwards compatibility is the most surprising thing there. So, especially when Xbox started dropping the compatibility, there's a certain fan base that says no one buys a console for compatibility, and nobody cares for compatibility. But it appears people do. And could it be now because Sony are also pursuing backwards compatibility? I'm going to stop saying the word compatibility before it sort of messes me up. Okay, so then 50,000 people have spoken, and that's where we are with that. So it's interesting to see going into next generation. Let's move on to our next topic. So this is not new news; it's old news. Sony is skipping E3 2020. Again, they snubbed 2019 for whatever reason. They didn't really say, other than I think they actually did say they've not got much to show. But they're saying they're skipping it because they just don't like the way it's going. I think that's kind of an excuse, Sony. I think you're just making it up because, I think you're just making it up, to be honest. I don't think you have got much to show, or you just want Xbox, which you have said with regards to pricing, you want Xbox to show their cards first, and you don't want to come out and show something then to be trumped on stage, like you did with the PS4 Pro, because you was originally going to show the PS4 Pro on stage. Xbox showed the Xbox X, and then you pulled the PS4 Pro from the stage, shortening your show by 30 minutes, which is just really sort of sour move, really. Patcher thinks it's a big mistake as well. If anyone cares for Michael Patcher, I don't really care for him, but he thinks it's a big mistake. Because at the end of the day, it is about the consumers, and it's what people want. And this is the biggest E3 isn't a games show, by the way. It is electronics expo, not a games expo. So people seem to get confused and think they should be more games, blah 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 blah. And it's not focused enough on games. It should be focused on games. It's an electronics expo. It should show electronics and tech and stuff like that, and the new advancements, which is why Xbox will be attending, because they're going to show their new advancements, which will be their new Xbox and all their other devices, as well as showing some premieres and games. If you want to see games, you go to other media, things like Gamescoms, and you have conferences like PAX, stuff like that. Sony pulled out last year, they pulled out this year. They said they will, like last year, attend other conferences, but we will see, will we, if that transpires, because last year they didn't. They also pulled out all other conferences and all, just showed some stuff on YouTube instead. So, following up from that news, Sony quits E3. Sort of Jeff Keighley quits E3 because he's uncomfortable with 2020 plans. If you're unsure who Jeff is, this is. So yes, following on from Sony, who also quit. I'm sure there's no relation to this whatsoever, even though he's a massive fan of Sony. He's quit, and do we care? Not really, no. Let's be honest. What I've heard in the grapevine is that he quit because he wanted more money and he wanted more to do more hosting and wanted more control of the whole event. And basically, the SA said, no, Jeff, no, mate, sorry, you've got your own Game Awards show, which you sort of dedicate to whatever it is you want to do there, make more money and stuff. So, no, we're not doing that here, sorry. So he's quit as well. They said that they've failed to evolve the event. Personally, I just think he's just talking out his arse, to be blatant. Yeah, they've not given him the power he wants. He wanted it to make it more like his Game of the Year awards ceremony in November, and it was just, well, they wasn't having it. So he's quit. So bye, Jeff. Nobody really cares. But moving back to Sony's other events, they said they'll attend. Sony's PAX East 2020 lineup feature TLU Part 2, Doom Eternal, and other heavy hitters. This was Thursday, February 13th. Yes, so Sony said they were going to attend, and they've got loads and loads of stuff to show. All this stuff, all of it, they're going to show all that. But then Sony quit that too. They said now they're not attending. 5 days later, they said yeah, they're not attending due to the virus that's going around that everyone's, I'm sure, aware of. It's a weird thing to say that you're not going to attend this show, which is held in Boston, by the way, in the US. So I find it odd that Sony's not going to attend that show. I don't know if they're worried about carrying stuff over, or if they're just generally worried about the people of Boston. I'm not sure. If they think everyone in Boston has the virus. But yeah, they're not going to attend due to that, which I also think's a bit nonsense. To be honest, I think, because as I said, Boston's still there'll still be going on in Boston. PAX East will still be going. They've not shut the event at all, so it'll still be going on, just like E3, but without Sony. And also, in Japan, they're still hosting conferences all over the shop. Look, so Boston's not worried about the virus. Japan's not worried about the virus, and they're still holding conferences of all sorts. So I'm unsure what Sony's concern about the virus is. Personally, to me, I think it looks like a bit of another scapegoat, like E3. They're going to pull out, because I remember they didn't attend PAX last year, having said they was going to attend and then quit. So yes, well done, Sony. We'll look forward to seeing what else you put out of throughout the year, which you said you would attend. Let's move on to the next bit of news. PS5 will flop at launch, says analyst, when compared to PS4 anyway. Sorry if my news all seems to be a bit negative on Sony today. The only problem is with this news is that a lot of positive news has come out of Xbox at the moment, and a lot of negative news is coming from the Sony bench. And I get all these things off my phone, and that's why I report on them. And a lot of it just seems to be this, and I'm just reporting the news that's popping up on my phone. Yes, this analyst says it's going to be a flop in comparison to the PS4. This is coming from, I probably won't get his name right, Hideaki Yasuda from Japanese analytical firm Ace Research Institute. Yes, he says it won't be anywhere close as successful as the PS4, which I totally believe, because part of that is Switch is going strong. So they're going to get, as before, when PS4 launched, it was competing with Xbox and Wii U. We know the Wii U died horribly, but the Switch is going strong, and especially in Japan. So it's going to have to compete there with Japan. But also Xbox is really lined up to come out punching and kicking, and I think it's going to be hitting its target a lot. So yes, I definitely don't think PS5 will be near as close as popular as PS4. I think it will take a huge dip. In fact, Sony have even said that that console sales aren't the main focus anymore, much like Xbox said to a lot of hate. Sony have said Xbox sales aren't the main focus, it's users. So they're looking to branch off and go into services too. Because at the end of the day, that's where the money is. That's where Microsoft make their money. Microsoft are not a hardware company, but look how big they are. They sell software. Look at Google. Look at Amazon. All this, they all run on services. Make all their money from services, not hardware. And they're all big companies, really. The only hardware company that's keeping up is Apple, and they also produce software. So that is it. So this is it. I'll put the links in here. I'll put the games in here so you can all look at this news yourself. If the PS5 predicted to ship 6 million units in the same window of time for its own launch, it's going to fall short of its predecessor's success. The PS4 is now second best-selling console of all time, behind the PS2, with its lifetime sales of 155 million. But as I said, they're not looking to console sales anymore because it's dead money. You're making a loss on your console sales, and you're limiting. If you're making exclusives just based on your console sales, then you're limiting your target audience when you can open your exclusives and open that range to everyone by putting your games everywhere. You make more money because software is where the money is. But he's not being negative after thinking what he says. He's actually just being just clever. He's being smart. He's using maths. Let's move on to the next topic. Spider-Man news. Here we go. Spider-Man, Sony boss hopes deal with Disney to share the web slinger will continue for years to come. Yes, because as it says here, there was a massive argument, as everyone knows, between Sony and Disney. Oh, he's bloody ads got behind you there, isn't it? Sony wanted to take Spider-Man back unless Disney paid them a certain amount of money. Disney said no, you can have him, and then Sony obviously called Sony's bluff, and Sony thought, actually, yeah, if we did take him back, we'll destroy him. So yeah, let's partner up on this, and we'll just see. We'll come to some better money arrangement. But the arrangement's only short term, as I think it says here somewhere. Yes, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for at least one more Sony movie and an appearance in a currently undisclosed Marvel Studios movie. So Spider-Man is only going to be in the MCU for 2 more movies. One more Sony movie, which I think is his film that's coming out next year, and then one undisclosed Marvel Studios movie, which we're not sure what that is yet. I have a feeling it's going to be the What If movie. I do, which is due out in 2020 or 2021. 2021? I think 2021. I've got a feeling they're going to plant him in that, What If. Which would be interesting if they bring in other Spider-Man characters and such, or if someone else had been bitten, for example. But there we go. But more importantly, the interesting thing is what's happened to the game franchise. Sony obviously bought Sunset Overdrive developers, Spider-Man developers, Insonic Games. If they lose Spider-Man, that's their biggest franchise, and that's a massive franchise to lose. There's also, because Disney own the Spider-Man game franchise, Sony only own the movie franchise rights. So it will be interesting if Disney even might come out and say, no, we want the game to go multiplat because we want to make money from this. Because Disney, like all companies, like to make money. So, and especially at the beginning of a launch console, when you've only got 5 million consoles launched at the beginning of a generation, that means at most your game's only going to sell 5 million copies. So, and Disney might not be interested in that at all, unless they're going to say, we're going to release Spider-Man 2, the game, much later on in the PS5's generation. But yes, that's all interesting news about Spider-Man. There you go. There's only 2 more movies, and Sony want to work with Disney, obviously, but I think they're more aiming towards their game. I think they want the game rights. I think they very much want the movie rights, but I think they really want to pursue those game rights. Let's move on to the next topic. Nvidia have been bold and said a PS5 and Xbox X Series won't compare to their new card and laptops. They said their laptops now are going to be are going to take over from consoles. They're going to be the new gaming platform, and they don't think PS5 and Xbox will hold up to them, and they're looking to push out consoles. So this is a very interesting article you might want to read up on. they are massively shunning the consoles and Sony and Microsoft by saying this. But can they put their money where their mouth is? It's interesting to see how we go next generation. Obviously now with Stadia involved in the fight, we've got Switch, we've got PS5, Xbox X Series, and the Nvidia laptop. So this is all very interesting news. Once again, please check this article out. The fact that we've been able to get RTX into a thin and light notebook is really a breakthrough, and it's one of the reasons why we're seeing such great success in notebook. Perhaps the onboard power of any gaming device will end up being irrelevant. Earlier this month, Nvidia announced that. It's interesting what they just said there. Perhaps the onboard power of any gaming device will end up being irrelevant. I think they're hinting at things going to digital, and you might not need hardware in the future. But they're certainly ready to get join the console gaming market with a laptop, a powerful laptop, gaming laptop. So that's very interesting news. Check it out. Right, so before I move on, I hope you enjoyed this kind of, because what I do is I just get the news and I thought I will just release it every week and just come out, basically give you a brief of what the news is. You can look at it yourself and go into it in more detail yourself. But this is news as it happens, more or less. So that's why I'm quick and fast paced. I want to get through it because I don't want to just drag this out for an hour because I know people get bored after 15 minutes watching YouTube. So specs of both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X have leaked. Here's what they mean. So this is Forbes, which I kind of dislike. There's still so much we don't know. Oh, you just said up there they've released all their specs and details and that, and then you just said there's still much. This is the problem with Forbes. I've done it in my last video. Forbes just come out with a headline, then only to contradict themselves further down. And then they just drew it's clickbait. Forbes clickbait, let's be honest. There's still so much we don't know about Sony and Microsoft's next-gen consoles, even though they're releasing later this year, and despite multiple announcements and reports. For instance, we don't know the price of either machine. We also don't know the internal specs. God, and what they mean. Right, let's just skip through their nonsense. Right, so this is what they come down to. This is their, I think this is them guessing. It's a PS5. Oh, they've got PS5 at 12 teraflops and Xbox X Series at 11 teraflops. That's interesting. It's gone against everything everyone else is saying. They've actually put the PS5 as much stronger than the Xbox X Series, despite what everyone else is saying, even Digital Foundry. So that's very interesting news. They're a very interesting thing to read. So it looks like Forbes, as always, they're a bit out of touch, out of the loop. They've dropped a clickbait title and then dropped some information that is probably totally incorrect. A leaker. Who is this leaker? The latest leak comes from the venerable halls of 4chan. Oh, I mean, taking it with a grain of salt. I don't even want to actually carry on reading this because it's all absolute nonsense. I don't even know why I've reported on it. But anyway, thank you for watching my channel. Please sub, share, and like. Please write in the comments what more you'd like to see, how you'd like me to develop this weekly news show. I'm trying to put more into it and get more more professional looking as I'm trying to work out how to use this package I've got on my laptop, on my Surface Pro. So I'm trying to develop that. So things are going to change over the weeks. Do you like my no nonsense opinion on the weekly news and my quick fire? Let me all know in the comments. Please sub, share, and like. Share on Twitter. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.